a webinar on good governance and resilience of the justice sector reform in the Western Balkans, which will take a focus on two countries in particular, those countries that are hoping to start accession negotiation soon, that have been hoping for a while now, and have been preparing in this fundamentals first area for quite a while.
ALBE has had two main components or themes. One is the connectivity, as in the Berlin process connectivity agenda, and the other one is the accession process. And both of them provide an inwards looking at the process and the institutional preparedness for the EU accession. Of course, the role of civil society in these two processes is to be an important interlocutor, and this has been interwoven in the activities throughout the implementation of ALBE.
We want to shift the focus from the reform to the new justice institutions. The reform is a mean, the justice reform is a mean per se. We are not interested in it. What we are interested in now is that the new justice institutions that have been created and that they are operating are efficient, are accountable, are transparent, are independent, are legitimate, have all these characteristics of what we call throughput legitimacy. Basically, we have gone inside the box of the institutions to open them up and to see how they work and how they can amplify what has been done until now.
Because the justice reform so far has been mostly evaluated based on the outcomes. And when we read the outcomes of the justice reform these 5 years, there are some reasons to celebrate, but there are also some issues which were unintended consequences of the justice reform. On the other hand, our perspective is not just theoretical to see the reform or to assess it, but as a policy paper, we think it is important to focus on the good governance of the justice institution. Because we're in a phase where the justice institutions now are established, but they need to gain their own value and legitimacy.
The reform was one of the deepest and largest institutional and legal reforms in the country. The selected model and the degree of intervention in the justice system in Albania represents a unique case. New institutions have been established or reorganized, and compared to other Western Balkan countries, Albania can be considered as a leader of this reform process. In this context, Albania's experience with justice reform can help during the process of planning, implementing, and monitoring institutional reforms in the Western Balkan countries. And I would also encourage the member states to keep the focus and to keep the light on the rule of law and on the judiciary in a broader sense over the process of accession, because it is actually crucial, and everything else can be very well adopted, very well enacted through the legislative process, but the rule of law and the judicial system is the only one that can have a, or let's say one of the rare that can have also a reversible process of worsening over time.
Judiciary specifically, but rule of law more broadly, is an absolutely core element for the accession negotiations. It's important for the Commission, and I think it's even more important for the member states. So our Western Balkan partners have to deliver in this area. We provide a broad range of support, but we're of course also aware that this is a complex process which takes time. There's steps forwards and sometimes there are also steps back. I think this is part of the game, but I think it's in all of our interest to ensure that we establish judicial systems that are well rooted in society and that provide independent and accountable and efficient justice for all citizens.